Hi there, welcome back to Joshua chapter 7, and picking up the story after the defeat of the Israelites against the forces of Ai, and something's gone terribly wrong, and Joshua's trying to work out what it is. He's responded to God's call to not just humble himself before God, but to get up, verse 10 of Joshua 7, and do something about it. And in these next verses, between really 11 and 15, we touch upon some things that are really quite difficult perhaps for the Israelites to deal with, and yet they're really important to God, and therefore they become important to the Israelites. I've talked a little bit about verse 11 already, but I'll pick up from there. Israel has sinned, this is God speaking, and broken my covenant. They have stolen some of the things that I commanded must be set apart for me. And they have not only stolen them, but have lied about it and hidden the things among their own belongings. That is why the Israelites are running from their enemies in defeat. For now Israel itself has been set apart for destruction. I will not remain with you any longer unless you destroy the things among you that were set apart for destruction. There was this call of God to give over to him certain things. And when the Israelites didn't do that, God said, well, in effect, I could increase this idea of giving things over to me through destruction to your nation, to Israel as well. Is that really what you want? In fact, that is a consequence of carrying on doing what you're doing as you are now. If you carry on this same trajectory, things are going to be getting a lot worse. As we get older in life, we realize that we can look back and see how certain things have given way to subsequent issues or subsequent behaviors that are then led to other things. There's a progression. There's a sense of one thing leads to the next. And this is part of the problem here when they are economical with the truth, when they are lying, because it says here in verse 11, the latter part of verse 11, they have not only stolen things, but they have lied about it. One thing goes to the next. There's this progression of walking away from God. There's this progression in walking in our own strength, doing our own thing, seeing only certain aspects of life dealt with. And this is what the Israelites did, and this is what God so wanted them not to do. He wanted them to enter into a relationship with him that meant he and they walked together. If you go back to the very beginning in the Garden of Eden, when it talks there about God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and there was that relationship with Adam and Eve before sin came into the world. And there's this great desire from God to have that relationship once again with the people that he made. And so he says to the Israelites, this is a terrible thing that you've done. Unless you sort this out, the consequences will be terrible. And there's a great reminder to all of us, I think, that if we go down a certain route in life, it's so easy to let things slide into the next little thing that, again, in itself perhaps doesn't seem so significant. But when you add all those little things together, it's something quite large. And things have a habit of snowballing. I'm recording this in the summer, and it's a hot summer here in England. But if you think about winter time and you get a little bit of snow or ice, you pack it together and you roll it along the ground and it picks up other bits of snow and ice. And before long, you've got a large snowball. You keep doing that, you've got the basis of a snowman. Things increase. Things become stronger. And God has a heart for us to nip these things in the bud when they are still small. Better yet, not to do them in the first place, but if we do, to get right with God straight away. This was God's heart for the Israelites, to get right with him, because he didn't want destruction to fall on the nation of Israel. That's God's heart for you and me too, even today.